Oh, are we live?
We are on.
That red light's on, so we're good.
We're just three random dudes with YouTube channels who get together every Saturday morning where we celebrate the two constants in our lives that bring us a daily dose of serenity. Coffee and Star Wars. We call it JavaJawaJaw.
Welcome back. It is JavaJawaJaw. And we are clearly not at a coffee shop this week. We are on the run. There could be 3 large bounties in this galaxy for us, so we're laying low, but you're going to get some awesome audio this week. So
True.
Yeah.
It's true. It is true. Now,
We probably sound awesome.
wait a minute. So you're saying we have bounties on us?
there could be.
Wow. Well, it's not a very good idea for us to publish stuff on the social media if we have bounties out for us.
Well, we're not pumping out our location.
Oh, okay.
And this is, of course,
This is
recorded
encrypted.
earlier. This isn't live.
Yeah, this is encrypted from a secret
Yeah.
location.
Yeah.
And, those little,
The fobs.
they find you.
Apparently they
So
find you
it
wherever
doesn't
you are.
matter.
You could be in the
Right.
middle of nowhere on a backwater world
Yeah.
farming krill, and they're going to find you.
They'll find you.
Bunch of jerks. Man. Well, we got some coffee, though.
Segue.
We got coffee.
If you want to call it that.
Starbucks.
We went to the Great Satan once more. It's close.
I went to.
good.
It's funny because I actually went to Kathy's coffee shop in Indian Trail, North Carolina, and got a coffee.
What'd you think?
It's pretty good coffee.
Okay.
It's pretty good. They had a dark roast, which is their own blend, and then they had something else from Dilworth Coffee. They had a lighter roast from Dilworth. And I decided to go with dark because that's it. It's just black coffee. There's nothing in it. But they were having an event there, which I had no idea. So hopefully that went well for them. But so we changed venues, went to Starbucks,
Yes.
so you could get
An event.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Lesson learned. This is probably going to be my last Starbucks for, I don't know, ever.
The arms of the angel.
Which blend did you get?
I got blonde. I was going for the
Oh.
caffeine. I didn't get much sleep last night.
You
I
did
was
that.
up
You got the
doing
blonde
things.
last time.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. It's
bummer.
not. No, it's not doing its job.
Dark roast
to the
for me.
taste buds. It's probably going to wake me up.
Did they have?
You know.
Did they have coffee on Sorghum?
Ooh.
Like they had spatchka, is what they said to drink.
Is spatchka coffee?
I think it's liquor.
Does anybody know what that is? Spatchka seems like it'd be liquor to me.
I think it's a liquor thing, or yeah. So it's like
Or
a.
was-
They had some stew.
They had soup.
They had soup, but that kicks us off. So
All right.
there you go.
Yeah. So, Mandalorian.
Mandalorian, episode 4, Sanctuary.
Halfway there.
Boom. Is it already? Oh, that's right.
It is.
That's almost sad.
Yeah. Halfway home. Sorry, Mando fans. Yeah. It's it's still pretty exciting though. I mean, we've established that first 3 episode story arc. Very exciting, very fun. And
Yes.
now we kind of move into this, which I've heard some people at this table describe as a filler episode. And I took exception to that.
Oh snap!
But I
Totally.
don't think that I don't think that that was fair for me to do. And I think that the reason is that for some reason in my head, filler episode has negative connotations.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
But I think that you can be a filler episode and still be a perfectly serviceable episode that actually serves to propel the characters forward in their particular arcs and carries the story forward, fills in background information, and I think we got all that.
Yeah, I think this one for me was the whole purpose of this episode for me was to introduce Cara Dune. That was the entire purpose of the episode.
That's it.
And they took their 38 minutes to do that, and that was the purpose of the show.
And so much more, because we also got quite a bit of we got enough information about the Mando. They flushed out his a
Yeah.
little bit. We learned a little bit more about the reason, not the reason behind the helmet, but the consequences of removing it,
Right.
which I thought was pretty crucial.
Which is sad because Kent's taken off his helmet.
I took off my
He can
helmet.
never put it back on again.
That raises an interesting question. My wife asked me last night when I was watching it for the second time with her. She said, "Are we ever going to get to see his face?" And my immediate reply, without hesitation, was like, "God, I hope not." I mean, I really want to go this whole series. I want the series to see this series through to completion and never once see the face of Pedro Pascal.
Right.
Nothing against you, Pedro. You're awesome.
But
it just really adds that quality of mystery to it. And you as an actor to be able to pull off, Pedro as an actor to be able to pull off what he's doing.
Yeah.
With that helmet, I just want to keep that going.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. What about you, Kent? Are you helmet on or helmet off? What are you thinking?
I would say helmet on. I would say the most helmet off we've seen in live action is Jango, and we've determined that Jango Fett is not a true Mandalorian, so I'd like to see the helmet stay on, and we don't need to see Pedro.
Well, to be fair, though, Jango did die with his helmet on. The title of it was interesting because it's Sanctuary. In the beginning of the episode, he was talking about going to this planet that had no, pretty much vacant, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Backwater.
No spaceport.
No spaceport, right? And he said he's going to spend a few months there. So he was at this point, he was thinking that he was in the clear from the guild.
No, I don't think so. I think that he's looking for a place to hide from the guild. Give it a few months to let it blow over, and hope that the guild moves on to other things at some point.
Yeah. So he had the fob that's tracking the kid. Mm-hmm. We can only assume he's got one on him. I mean, I don't think it'd be a stretch to say when you join the guild, they do whatever they do to track you or whatever. I think that would be a fair. That way, if you got out of whack,
check the chip.
Yeah, a chip or something. I don't know. I would think they'd be tracking him down because that's just, if you break the code, they might come after you. One of those things. But they clearly are still tracking the kid. And I guess he thought he was far enough away to where they couldn't find him for at least a short period of time.
Well, hopefully that'll be revealed.
Yeah,
at some point. I mean. Yeah, obviously, they're tracking something.
Exactly.
And it seems to be something that's universal.
Right.
Yeah. So
we want to know what that is.
Yeah.
So by the finale, if you guys could just share us how the heck they're tracking people, that would be awesome. Because I want to know. Because if it's like,
I can live without it. I don't really need to know. I mean,
if
they never tell me, then I'm perfectly fine with it. I accept it. I'm just like, all right, they're tracking them somehow. It's a plot device. It's something that they don't need to devote a lot of screen time to. So if they don't want to do it, I'm fine with it.
There you go. Yeah. He has spoken.
So we got a new planet. So very cool. What was the name of that planet?
Sorgan.
Yeah.
That's like a Swedish ice cream.
sorghum, but with an N.
Yeah.
With one less hump.
There you go.
Yeah.
And we saw a familiar creature on Sorgan.
Yes, we did.
Lothcat.
That was awesome.
That was awesome.
Lothcat. And it was mean.
I will never make that sound again.
It was mean.
Yeah, it was a mean Lothcat, but then what we've seen of Lothcats and Rebels is they can be pretty ferocious.
They can be.
They don't back down from a fight with stormtroopers.
I was waiting on the Lothcat to jump on top of a Lothwolf, but
that's a whole other episode.
I don't think we're going to see that on Sorgan.
Wrong planet. So the major character, we got a new character, Cara Dune, finally making her appearance.
And she is awesome.
She did. It was a nice portrayal. Something we haven't seen before. I know I was talking to Ryan a little bit yesterday. Even the video games and stuff, to actually see a kind of rebel, New Republic type trooper. So definitely a new element that we'll get to see flushed out, hopefully in a few more episodes.
She was awesome. Now, she was sitting at the bar, or this, I guess it was a restaurant. It was, I don't know what it was. It was something like that. A kitchen of some sort. And then Mando comes up, and he immediately recognizes her and goes, something's up here.
He picks up something about
Something's going, like, she stood out. It reminded me of like Jason Bourne. You remember the last Jason Bourne? Something didn't fit in. That one guy that was chasing him, like, he just immediately, it wasn't right. So she stood out for whatever reason, and I'm guessing it's because of the way she was dressed. I would assume.
I think it was her apparel, her attitude, the way that she was just kind of like just casually like leaning and just staring, meeting his eye. Just she had that business look on her face. She wasn't afraid to stare him straight in the face. And I mean, here's this guy in Mandalorian armor, and she's just like boldly checking him out, just not even bothering to hide it.
Yeah.
So she's formidable.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had the air of being formidable.
And she's got very strong hands. Like, she was punching the dude in the helmet. The best guy, the helmet.
Did she have gauntlets at all on?
I don't
Not
think so.
really.
Was it
Just
bare-fisted?
gloves.
Not just gloves?
Just gloves.
Oh, it was just gloves.
I tried looking at that because those were some big shots to the helmet.
Yeah, she took some big hit, like knocking him around. I'm going, wow.
Augmented bone structure?
Maybe.
thinking?
I don't know. Maybe she's a mutant. I don't know.
It was pretty crazy. It was a good fight.
She had a good
You can
fight.
mix that franchise now.
I don't know, but she's Rogue from X-Men. But she was punching the dude, and they're having this good fight. And he's got all this armor. He's got this Beskar steel, which he got in the last episode. He's all decked out, looking awesome. I mean, he's taking blaster shots from this Beskar steel, and then she punches him, and he's on the ground. So that's pretty tough.
Oh, not only, I mean, just knocking him to the back of his head in such a way that his body just like pivoted at like the mid center, and like his head hit the ground before his feet did. I mean, it was great stunt.
She wasn't messing around.
Yeah.
That was good. It was a good fight.
Yeah, good choreography and a hilarious ending to it when they're all both laying on the ground, pointing blasters at each other, and there's Baby Yoda just like, "What's up? Got my soup."
Want some soup?
Yeah.
Well, what kind of soup it was?
It looked like he was enjoying it.
Frog soup.
It's frog soup.
Frog soup.
The frog.
Right.
Yeah, well, he's walking around. He's almost like this. Even though he's like a child at 50 years old, he reminds me of like the old wise person walking around with his soup, going, "Y'all done now?" Yeah, it just had that presence in that scene. Even though it was still child, it was a weird mix. It was pretty cool.
Obviously, she was just an absolutely badass introduction to the character. She's going to make an interesting ally. Clearly a deserter.
Right.
I think clearly a deserter.
I think it's
she's
pretty
just
clear.
hinting at it. Yeah. The hints would be only subtle to somebody who just wasn't paying attention.
They come up with a plan that they're going to go to this village and just kind of hang low, getting paid by the villagers what little the villagers have for protection. And we get some interesting story about taking off the helmet and possibly the consequences of removing the helmet.
And the number one consequence is you can't ever put it back on.
Yeah, so we're just more and more stuff about the Mandalorian culture as it stands today is being fleshed out. And what we're coming to realize is that Mandalorian society has decreased to such a low number that they're having to bring in these foundlings and basically indoctrinate them in the Mandalorian way.
Right.
So
and then we learned that, I mean, later on down the road, we figure out that he's really not. He says the Mandalorians took him in, so we knew he was a foundling, and we kind of assumed he was an orphan. His parents got knocked out,
but that kind of confirms it.
Yeah, it just confirms it that he was brought in. So I kind of thought about that was what actually makes a Mandalorian? Like, what is it? Is it you took an oath? He followed the rules of putting on the armor. He took on this life. We saw it from the armorer in the last episode, I think it was, or episode 2. Talks about, well, he took the oath and he took this. He's hunter and hunted. He's hunter and prey. If no coward would take up that lifestyle and agree to that kind of deal. And then we saw the heavy was literally trying to take off his helmet and fight this guy,
right.
And of course that didn't work out. But
that was basically the heavy trying to get him kicked out, trying to get him out.
He was trying to dishonor him.
Yeah,
he was trying to
and remove him from the Mandalorian.
Right.
Once it's gone, once it's off. If he would have succeeded, then he couldn't have put it back on.
Right. Then he's done. And so for whatever reason, the Mando has this allegiance to the Mandalorian culture because they took him in and helped him out and whatever, and they taught him a lot of stuff. They taught him how to be a good fighter, so he got that going for him.
The question is that what we're seeing here now is a massive shift in what it means to be a Mandalorian, and what we've seen before in both Clone Wars and in Rebels. The Mandalorian society seemed to be kind of it's based upon clans.
Right.
And houses.
Right. And they were actually on that planet.
Yeah, and there were bloodlines that were involved there. You had to be born into it. But these days, it seems that since the purge took place, now they're forced to bring in outsiders and again indoctrinate them into.
It's almost like the survivors from the purge are just trying to rebuild their culture, rebuild their people.
Yes.
And so the only way they can really do that in a fast way is instead of reproduction, which takes forever, or if you got cloning, maybe I guess they can do that. But it's actually bringing in other peoples and bringing them in and teaching them this culture by their heritage, and that's kind of where it works on. But it's very cool that they're able to do that because he clearly is taking it very seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no question about which makes you begs the question that the other Mandos we saw in episode 3, are they similar or are they real bloodline Mandalorians or did they get brought in?
I'm sure it's a mix.
It's got to be.
Yeah. Right? And what would be interesting for me to see is actually see some kind of a conflict arise because of that.
Right.
Like somebody's gonna talk trash to the Mandalorian because you're not a pureblood.
I got the feeling that
it's like Muggles and
exactly
mudbloods. And
I got the feeling that the Heavy was a legit Mandalorian, and that he was looking down on our Mando, and he was kind of had that feeling towards him until the end of that episode, and then he was like, "Yeah, okay, we got this," but we're brothers now, or whatever. But I got that feeling.
Yeah. It's ambiguous enough that it could go either way, I think. But it's you're probably
But the fact
right
is,
there.
he did not want to take off the helmet. He didn't want to do that. And then, for whatever reason, I thought it was kind of weird that he's sitting down eating. He finally has a meal. We did find out he takes him off to have a meal.
Yeah.
He can take off the helmet when nobody's around.
That answers that question.
So there's that. Because I was like, what the heck? I mean, it seemed logical, but they didn't answer it.
He can't just feed himself through a tube.
Right.
Or can he?
It made it's in that helmet. It reminds me of a movie, and I can't remember, the name of the movie escapes me now. But there was a movie, it's like a comic movie, is a joke movie way back when, and there was a character, and he said he was invisible, but only when nobody was looking.
Yeah, it's Mystery Men.
Mystery Men,
yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Mystery Man.
I thought you were talking about Drax.
No, Drax. He goes, I'm invisible, but only when nobody's looking, and everybody's like, what? So he can take off his helmet when nobody's looking, and which is cool. But he sat down to eat a meal
in front of an open window.
In front of an open window.
All right. I have a theory on that.
All right, go ahead.
Bright sunlight. When you're outside, in bright sunlight, and somebody's inside a window, a few feet inside of a window, unless the sun is shining directly through that window, you're not going to see anything because the difference in light is just going to be the light value.
So he's playing the camera exposure.
I'm totally playing the exposure card.
All right.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting. Star Wars, we've seen so many interpretations of what does it mean to be a Mandalorian. Going back to Clone Wars, the Duchess trying to bring in a new, not warrior people as Mandalorians. We got to see Death Watch, who were not the most honorable. They pretty much did what they wanted to do, and
but they were
droids.
true bloodborne Mandalorians.
Yes.
But they were also outcast because they didn't follow the way of Mandalore.
So one more interpretation. Now we have the Foundlings. We have this new brand of Mandalorian, and we'll just keep flushing out what it means to be a Mandalorian.
It's true. So
I love the fact that it's a slow burn. They didn't just drop it all on us in the first episode. They're just teasing us with it a little bit more every episode, and every question that they answer brings up more questions.
Yeah.
And that momentum that they're generating with that is just going to carry us into the future and all the way through this season into the next and beyond.
It is pretty cool. So it's interesting. So kind of moving past the episode a little bit. Mando's at this village who thinks for a period of time, at least, he's going to have some peace. That clearly doesn't work because I don't think this guy ever is going to have peace. I think he's going to keep getting in trouble.
Nah, he's the man with no name, man. I mean, he's the man with no face in this instance. And that's and hopefully that continues.
Yeah.
We talked about this earlier about we just don't want him to ever lose that helmet because that you lose that mystique and that's part of the magic of him. If he ever finds peace, then it needs to be one of two ways. It needs to be, and either way is going to wind up being the same resolution. It needs to be at the end of the series. He's going to either remove that helmet at the end of the series, and then his mission is done, his deed is done, and he's just going to live his life as a normal man, or he's going to die. Right,
which reminds me of Gladiator. The only way the Gladiator, Russell Crowe found peace was at the very end of that film.
Yes.
I think that was his goal in that film, anyways. But, but that was the only way he found peace, and I hope that happens in like season 8 of Mandalorian.
This show needs to, as long as the quality is maintained,
right,
and they don't go off the rails, no jumping of sharks, any of that nonsense,
right?
Then
give us like 10 episodes,
give me that 8 seasons. I doubt they'll be able to pull that off because I'm almost positive the creators are going to want to move on to something else and tell different stories.
Yeah.
If they can do this story in 3 seasons and it's perfect, great, I'm all for it. But if we can get 8 seasons and it's equally perfect,
I'm in on that.
By all means, do so.
I'm in for as much as they want to deliver, as long as it keeps up this high caliber of work they're putting out. But he goes to this village and to find peace. That doesn't work out for him, and then he runs into him and Kara. They get recruited to go solve this problem with this. And I don't remember the name of the enemy. I can't remember their species or whatever.
I don't know. Did they ever say? They were just raiders.
No, they didn't.
Just raiders.
One of them looked like a pit bull.
Right.
I've never recognized. I didn't recognize the species. So if anybody knows what species that was, because other species that we've seen, like Trandoshans and
and we've recognized some of them.
The species from episode 1 when he was holding the baby Yoda captive. We recognize them, but they've evolved. They've actually made improvements in the makeup since 1983.
Right.
So they look better. They look more realistic.
Yeah.
But
they're recognizable.
It's possible this species was something that we saw in a previous movie.
Yeah, there's a bounty hunter in Clone Wars that kind of looks like a pit bull, so we might have to visit that and see if maybe that was the Raiders.
Right.
Fair warning, I don't do much homework before we do this. I try to test my memory.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a little challenge. So if I get things wrong, then forgive me. I'm legitimately not doing my homework for the most part.
That's what the comment section's for.
Yeah. So point it out. If I screw up, feel free to let me know.
Hey, we're just enthusiasts here enjoying the show, like you guys who happen to be just talking about it with coffee, and that's what we're here. We're not claiming to be experts, but
I am.
You are? Okay, my bad. Well, you do more homework. But they run into these enemies, right? And then they get they go to check out the camp and kind of, I guess, do some homework, or kind of think they're going to scare them off, and then they run into this walker and they go, "Oh no, yeah, we're out, peace." And I love the line. What was the line, Kent, when he came back? He said, he says, "You're gonna have to move."
Y'all have to move.
Yeah.
See ya.
He just like gives up and is like, "No,
we're out of here.
We're out.
You're all gonna have to live somewhere else."
Yeah. And Kara's like, "Oh, it's a big planet. You can go somewhere else. It's okay." So they literally fight this enemy with a walker, an ATST, which is the scariest ATST I think we've seen on film.
Intentionally.
Yes.
It was amazing the way they filmed that.
Yeah.
It was absolutely amazing. And we're having this discussion. You guys can let us know. My thoughts on the ATST with the red lights going on is just we've never seen one at night. Terry says they had a disco party and threw up some LEDs inside of this thing. And just
in my own defense, I did not say disco party. That's all I know.
He thought they were college kids and had to throw LED lights all over the place. And would have been even more interesting if it had like the pulsing lights with different colors and everything.
Well, think about it.
But it was red and it was scary.
Turn on their favorite jam as they're unloading on the village.
They were listening to the Cantina band, Max Rebo, and I don't know, but
well, think about it though. I mean, you're a group of raiders. I mean, you recognize the value of instilling fear in the people that you're trying to conquer or attack or whatever. So you get this thing, and you see this all the time with people who like try to jack up their trucks and make their trucks look more menacing and awesome and badass.
Right.
It's something similar to what we're seeing these guys do. They've got this ferocious machine. What can they do to make it more terrifying?
Right.
Well, yeah, you give it the glowing red eyes, so that when you're attacking these people at night, they see it coming through the trees, just the way we saw it there. And by the way, I'm just going to segue right now into how gorgeous some of these shots were in that episode.
Oh, yes.
This is some of the most beautiful cinematography, almost like literally translating concept paintings into something that you see on screen.
Right. And it was low, wide shot.
Yeah.
All dark with the red eyes coming through. It was beautiful.
Coming out from like these misty trees and it's just beautiful, beautiful shot. Also, something else I wanted to bring up, the Unreal Engine. The fact that this is the first episode that I can recall actually seeing them it looked like they were trying to replicate the lighting of the Unreal Engine, which, if those of you who aren't following the background stuff, but this new means that they have a filming this in which the entire set is surrounded by a projection screen.
Right.
That's where all that background is coming from. This is a projected image that you're seeing. This isn't something that's done in post. Maybe amplified in post.
Maybe some editing or some stuff.
But
yeah.
they've legitimately, the way that they were lighting these characters like Cara Dune, I saw it on her face first. It looked like something out of a video game, and that's when it clicked. Oh, they're trying to match the Unreal lighting scenario.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're doing so
stuff.
much in camera that it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's great. It's awesome.
And it's cheap.
Yeah.
Relatively.
Well, considered the hours it takes to edit and render and do all this kind of 3D.
It's
all this
revolutionary.
Kind of,
We're
going to see that a lot more in films, which is pretty amazing. But they get this walker, and he's got his red eyes just kind of going through there, and it scares the crap out of everybody, which is as it should, because it's a walker. But where did they get it?
I'm sure that it was left behind by an Imperial regiment that was maybe on that planet at some point.
Or
they
sold.
salvaged it.
Or sold?
Maybe they bought it. Maybe they made a deal with one of those Imperial warlords. The possibilities are, I don't want to say endless, but they're numerous.
I'd like to know where, because honestly, I'd like to have one.
Oh yeah.
Is that the reason for your curiosity?
Yeah. I want to know.
Conquer the neighborhood.
Like, did they go on Craigslist for Sorgan and type in scary metal walker?
There are
thing?
1 ATSTs available in your area.
Your
to purchase.
geography.
They've been watching on eBay.
They got the notification. There is now one available. Bam. Put in your bid now. No, I would like to have one. I think it'd be great to just walk around the neighborhood with. I think it'd be kind of cool.
Take the sting out of commuting.
It'd be.
Right.
Because you could legitimately, if you get bored, if you get backed up on the freeway, you just take a left.
Wherever. Wherever you want to go.
Go over houses,
Yeah, and be like, hey, but I would paint mine differently.
Since Disney purchased Lucasfilm is, to one extent or another, fan fiction. It's just that the quality of fans doing this fanfic is so far beyond what what you would typically associate with ordinary garden variety fanfic. So what we're seeing now is with this ATST is an example of one of the positive aspects of that. That being that what we saw of ATSTs in Return of the Jedi made them seem like they were difficult to get rid of. They were almost goofy in the way that this tribal people were able to. And I recognize that this
They
is
took
a
them down
metaphor.
with sticks.
Yeah, but they took them down with some tree trunks tied up with vines and whatnot. And so they were cool looking, but they were kind of a joke in that they didn't seem terribly effective. This is the first time that we've actually seen how effective an ATST can be at crowd control.
Right.
From the perspective of a people, like an indigenous people, farmers in this case. That can be horrifying.
It can be.
You don't have the means of taking that down.
Yeah,
urban pacification and rural pacification.
Yeah, I think it's definitely it was definitely scary. It makes me think like what else is out there to find. We'll find in episode 5. We'll figure that out.
Yeah.
But it was definitely pretty cool to see, and that the effectiveness of this, and they had a plan. Like Kara had a plan to take this thing down, as if she's done this before.
Because she probably has.
She probably has, as a shock trooper. Yeah. Shocker.
You've got to wing it with these things.
Yeah, so she was like fearless. Like when they figured out this walker wasn't going to step into their trench that they made, she's like, no, I got this. And she goes up there, takes his pulse rifle. I can't believe he actually gave it to her. Takes his pulse rifle and goes up there and knocks down this walker. It's actually pretty cool. So I enjoyed every bit of that. And then at the end of this thing, because the intent from the beginning was to leave, we didn't talk about this, but to leave the child on this peaceful planet and let him do his thing. And then Mando
found a home for the child.
Yeah, Mando was like, I'm out.
I'm done. Yeah.
I'm going to my next whatever he plans on doing.
Leechar.
Right. And he could, live his life, and the child could live his life, but that clearly is not going to work, which would have been great because there's plenty of frogs. For the Yoda, for baby Yoda to eat.
He's going to grow to be big and strong, at least 2 feet.
One of the best scenes in the entire show was when he's eating the frog and the kids were like, "Oh!" and then he spits it out. It was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So
that brings up an interesting point. Clearly, Bryce Dallas Howard is in love with Baby Yoda, because I think they could have cut this episode down by about 4 minutes.
Oh yeah.
If they'd taken away some of those extraneous Baby Yoda bits. I'm grateful to her for not doing that.
Right.
Because
Finally, my wife and I have something Star Wars that we can watch.
Oh wow!
So,
I can see them doing like the Pixar does those Pixar shorts. I can see a Baby Yoda short, like 4 minute just short story of them.
Yeah.
And I think
like what was that character Scrat in the
from Ice Age?
From Ice Age?
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
Baby Yoda chasing a frog.
It would be awesome. But he
misadventures.
But they ate the frog, spit the frog out. It was just super cute. It was awesome. And so I don't know why he spit it out. I don't know. He just did.
Peer pressure. He
Peer pressure.
saw
Peer
the
pressure.
kids laughing at him.
Well, there you go. Yeah. But he gets this. He figures out he's not going to be able to leave the child on this planet, and then says, we got to go. We're out. But he had the opportunity to stay with this lady. And he just said, nah. I think what he knew in the back of his head is wherever I go, I'm just going to attract more.
He knew he was going to get shot in the back of the head if he let her take his helmet off.
Right. Yeah.
Just to bring up that lady that he had the opportunity to stay with, I'd just like to point out before we go that she's an absolute badass in her own right.
Yeah.
Did you see that? I don't know if Easter egg, but I don't know if anybody noticed, but her blaster rifle that she was using, Bosk's blaster rifle, well, the same model as Bosk's blaster rifle, just nailing that target.
Yeah, she knew what was up.
Yeah. Kind of curious to see her backstory.
Yeah. I don't think we're ever going to see her again.
I don't think so either. She's one and done.
But she was cool. The way she, in the beginning of the episode, the way she protected her daughter under the basket thing and just said, we got this. She was just calm and just, we got this. It was pretty cool to see. And
everything about that environment and those people, her and her daughter, and the way that they presented the characters, it's just one more example of how they're sticking to the whole formula of the spaghetti westerns, the classic Clint Eastwood story arcs and his westerns from the 60s and early 70s. It's just great for me to see. I was raised on those films, and it's all very familiar to me, and that contributes greatly to my enjoyment of it all.
So where are we going next? Any thoughts?
Well, I just one last visual. I want to hear what you guys think. Twice in the episode, we got to see under the helmet. So we had our little thermal view.
Oh yeah, we talked about that in the previous episode. But
the Predator.
The Predator.
Yeah, he's got that thermal. I told you that there was something going on with that visor. It's not just he can see through it. It's like Iron Man. He gets a display.
He's got Jarvis.
Yeah.
Snap. That would be awesome. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Then to see what else can be done in that helmet. So you got the thermal footprint on the ground, but what else? What else can it do?
Yeah, definitely highlighted twice in the episode. So will we see more under the helmet as the series progresses?
And eventually he'll have to go back to the covert. He's going to find out wherever the covert moved to, and then he's going to revisit the armor, and then we're going to get more of that video game upgrade thing.
Yeah.
So he's going to get something added to that helmet. Maybe he'll get the Boba Fett style rangefinder. He'll have to get a jetpack.
Yes, but we need a jetpack.
Yeah, there's going to be.
He really likes his flamethrower.
Yes,
he really
tried to use the flamethrower again.
He tried to use it on Cara Dune.
Dude, if I had a flamethrower, I would love it.
Yeah, he's like, he used it all the time.
I'd be using that thing to light the barbecue, Yeah.
Oh,
dry my clothes.
I think that would be a pretty cool plan.
Heat up my coffee.
Well, we got episode 5 coming up very soon. I guess we can talk about episode 5 here a little bit. So next week, we actually have episode 5 dropping. It's Friday, right?
Friday.
I think this is the Friday one, yeah.
Friday drop. The next week's episode, we have a special episode for you guys. We're actually going out on a toy hunt, which as of right now, we got a little over $1,000 we've raised for Toys for Tots. So we're actually going out in next week's episode. So subscribe, turn on notifications for this. We're going to talk about Mandalorian, and we're going to go on an epic toy spree, shopping spree for kids. We're going to show you all that. We're going to buy a whole bunch of toys. We're going to drop them off. I think we're actually going to drop them off at a Chick-fil-A.
Yeah,
that's kind of the idea.
Get that sandwich.
Yeah, we're going to get some of that. So it might be JavaJawaJaw and Chick-fil-A sandwiches next week.
There'll probably be some Star Wars toys.
There probably, 100%. So we're going to go out. Like I said, we got about $1,000 or so to spend, maybe a little more. If you'd like to help out with that, I'll put a link in the description below if you want to help out and donate to that cause. We're just going to buy a bunch of toys for kids and donate them to Toys for Tots. So it should be fun. So next week's going to be a super special episode.
It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that.
Episode 5.
Episode 5. So, guys, as always,
we have spoken. So I think we start off, we had a new director for episode 4, and
The Lady in the Water.
that's right.
Bryce Dallas Howard. Yeah.
True story.
That's all I got.
I crush. Yeah. Yeah.
That's it, guys. We're out of here. See you.
Bryce.
of loving someone, and it feels like it's all over.